What does the day of the average person look like? They get up at 7 or 8 a.m., eat breakfast, go to work or school, socialize, maybe go out for lunch with some friends, finish their work, go home, eat dinner, relax, then get to bed by midnight. All the while, they also make sure to fit in and not cause any disturbance. They stay out of others' way, they move their eyes around so as not to stare at anyone, they laugh at people's jokes, they blend in. Now, this isn't a bad thing at all. Humanity runs on fitting in. The structure of society requires that we all move in unison in order to avoid chaos. After all, if everyone were to do what they want, shit would be going crazy. It would be like what Joe Rogan says about if there were more chimps than humans. It would just be fucked.
Pissing on everybody. Dude. If chimps were everywhere and they had full freedom the way people do, we'd have a fucking serious problem.
It's for good reason that these societal norms are followed. But what if I told you there was a way to avoid all this? A place you could go where none of these norms mattered. Where you could walk in the middle of the street for as long as you want without the worry of cars coming. Where you can sing and dance without the worry of people seeing you and thinking you're weird. Where you can go hours without talking to others and not be seen as some antisocial, loser, cringe nerd. What is this place, you ask? The nighttime. From sunset to sunrise, nothing matters. Or at least that's the conclusion Koyamori came to after finally answering the call of the night. What's the call of the night? It's the topic of today's video, baby. Let's go. Call of the Night is a brand new anime based on a manga of the same name written and illustrated by Kotoyama, who you may know from Dagashi Kashi, that one series about candy. Call of the Night follows the story of previously mentioned Koyamori, a middle schooler who struggled to find the point in fitting in with the norm. After all, he's plenty happy just doing what he wants, so why even try? This leads to him just slugging through the day, not using any energy to try anything, not using energy to talk to people, not using energy to study, which then results in him getting insomnia. So, Ko can't sleep due to his lack of interest in expending energy during the day. So what does he do? He decides to answer the call of the night and go out past his bedtime. So this kid goes out past his bedtime. What's so special about that? Well, first off, that's not all the concept is. The spice of the concept comes in when you add in the fact that he ends up meeting a vampire named Nazuna Nanakusa, who shows Ko just how special the night can be, and also lets him in on a little secret. That secret being that she can turn him into a vampire if he falls in love with her. So what does Ko do? He ends up making it his mission to fall in love with Nazuna and become a vampire so that he can always experience the night like this. Pretty neat, right? That's not really what makes this anime special, because as neat of a concept as it is, you can kinda just boil it down to another rom-com. What makes this anime special is its direction. And who do we have to thank for that other than Tomoyuki Itamura, the wonderful director behind the Monogatari series. I could tell there were similarities straight off the bat. The vivid colors and quick cuts were unmistakable. I knew they were something I'd only seen in Monogatari before, so I knew right away that I was in for a ride like none other. And as the show went on, I was proven right. The quick animation style changes that I so heavily praised Love is War for were present, and there was also this crazy vampire fight, which is classic Monogatari, but you know, he knows what he's doing. Itamura, when you get him on a vampire fight, he's like, oh, appendages are flying. But the specialty of it all is that it comes out of nowhere. I did not expect this fight to occur at all. It goes from hentai to horror, and then boom, epic shonen battle, all within the span of like 10 seconds. Not to mention the intros and outros are also both absolute thumpers. And they even had the musicians who made them. Creepy nuts, they just slapped them in as some dudes who were hitting on Nazuna, and you're like, wow, these guys are kind of scumbags. But then they end up not being that big of scumbags, I think. It's pretty crazy. But where's the real substance come from? The concept is neat, the direction is fantastic, but that can only get you so far. Where's the meat and potatoes? Where's something I can sink my teeth into? Well, the characters are also fantastic. Ko is the perfect center point for this crazy world. He perfectly encapsulates the allure of the night through his straightforwardness and lack of care for societal norms. Akira, on the other hand, is the perfect foil to Ko, an opposite in the sense that she doesn't stay up late, but gets up early. So unlike Ko, who, by society's standards, is a lazy incel loser who sleeps all day, Akira is still a productive member of society, and she shows this by trying to get Ko to start going to school again, because school is important. Speaking of useful members of society, another great character is Kiyosumi, who parallels Ko in the sense that they both stay up late, but also a foil in the sense that she's only staying up late because of work, not because she's a lazy sack of shit. Finally, topping off the roster of great characters, we have Mahira, the cool kid from Ko's school, the golden boy who can do no wrong, who, just like Ko, is staying up late for a selfish reason. That reason being that he's trying to fuck a cougar. But since he still goes to school, he's not seen as a lazy waste of air like Ko is. Now, notice how I didn't mention Nazuna? That's because she's a pedophile. She's shown to be old enough to drink, and also old enough to have one of those old massive brick phones So she's clearly at least like 25, and that's being generous, because like my mom remembers having those brick phones, and she is older than 25. Meanwhile, Ko is like 14 years old, dumb, naive, doesn't even go to school, and although she makes it out like she doesn't want him to fall in love with her, it's kind of hard to believe that's the case when she constantly blushes at the mention of him loving her, and also has kissed him multiple times. If you really look for it, there's a clear case of grooming going on. Now, if you really look for it, there's a clear case of grooming going on between Nazuna and Ko, and since I'm trying to make this video longer, let's get into the details. The first piece of evidence to this theory occurs in the very first episode, when Nazuna puts Ko into a life-threatening situation and then saves him. By doing this, Nazuna establishes a hierarchy of power over Ko, showing him that he's at her mercy and he should stay with her if he wants to remain safe. What does that sound like to you? That sounds to me like grooming. The next piece of evidence, and particularly the most solid, is when Akira asks Ko why he stopped going to school. I don't know what this voice is. I'm trying to do like one of those old-timey detective voices, but I feel like it's not really working out. When Akira asks Ko why he stopped going to school, Nazuna instantly gets defensive, telling Ko that school is useless and that he doesn't need it. Ko then explains his reasoning for not going to school, and Akira hits him with a perfectly logical counterpoint, plus a bit of friendship in order to get him back on the right track. So what does Nazuna do? Knowing that Ko may be considering leaving her, she first reminds him that she's a vampire. Second, questions Akira's intentions and insinuates that she may not be a real friend. And then third, she leaves, pouting like a child. This is textbook manipulation, my friends. I'm turning country shit. This is textbook manipulation. She gaslit him and tried to distance him from his friend, who was telling the truth. She even hits him with the "think for yourself" line, comboed with some insults. Then, when she finally stops ignoring him, what does she do? Apologize for being a dickhead? No, of course not. She kisses him, further reinforcing their relationship and tricking Ko into thinking he has a reason to stay. Then finally, this one's kind of a pretty heavy hitter, kind of irrefutable, I would say. I know I said the last one was the most solid piece of evidence, but I think this one may be a bit more damn solid. Just the fact that she told him she's a vampire, therefore essentially sentencing him to an execution if he doesn't fall in love with her within a year, should be enough evidence that she is not a very good person. Like, holy cannoli, what? That's pretty crazy if you ask me. Regardless of that, the show's still good overall, and I think it's worth watching just because of how unique it is. Now, does unique mean good? No. Gluttony was unique and I couldn't get behind it at all. Maybe you'll be the same with this show, which is understandable, but if you've got free time, maybe give it a try. Because who knows, maybe if you don't like the romance part of it, you can consider it a crime series and delve into the grooming side of it. Anyways, that's going to be all from me for today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all of you across the nation. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a month. That's my bad. I'm going to try and get back on track, and I will see y'all in the next one. Deuces.
The Black Marty McFly resurrecting the real shit, so I'm sorry if I offend plenty of the fakes. See, I'm one of a kind, the hell of a guy, came through with loss to defy. They call me Philip J. Fly captain yesterday, checkmate. Your second place suckers a second rate. Yes, sir. Never been a plug, but got the weight. Crack music, got the finest shit coming from out the states. But wait, now hold the phone, man. We could take a minute to pretend that me and Dave's OCN doing niggas in. We got you and your girl moving and all her friends. Ain't worried about them threes, but them nines and tens. I can't wait to get bougie. My service is gonna be costly. The pick of the little niggas so haters can get off me. You think you would head? I'ma be there shortly. Of course, we in the game like Charles Wade Barkley.